So, once again, thank you for this wonderful opportunity. And good evening, everyone, from wherever you're joining. And yeah, I'm back with yet another, I would call it a learning hour or so. Okay, for today's topic is presentation skills. When I say presentation, we all of us have different way of of defining what is presentation skills, isn't it? A lot of us will have different way of telling it that this is my style, or this is how I walk the talk. We have different ways of you know doing that communication part of it. So in a presentation, who all do you think is involved? It is not just the speaker, but it is all the presenter. There's a lot of small things which takes place on the process. Is your first is the introduction part of yourself, which that is like a hook of your uh, hook for your to grab attention of your audience who's listening to you. So sometimes if the movie starts or if something starts on a boring tone, do we even feel like to continue with that particular activity? Honestly speaking, majorly people will not, isn't it? So all these things happens. And majorly when it comes to preparation, presenting and the other visual aids, if you're using, if you're on an offline event, more than that, the small minute things matters. Understanding the environment of where you'll be taking a session. If it is online, make sure that you either your background is blurred, minute things, background is blurred, you are in a center, you know sitting in such a way that you are in the center, not two on the side or not two on this side, where you will have to be in the center of your camera. If you feel your camera is not in your eye level, either keep something underneath your laptop which will bring into your eye level. Otherwise, what will happen? Attention will not stay. I think Shabna ma'am would agree to this, that many a times the lighting is not proper. Many a times your face is too dull. Isn't it? All these small minute things has to be taken into consideration. If it's not taken into consideration, it causes more you know difficulties or challenges which we will start facing. And understanding what kind of communication are we using to present ourselves in any given situations, and understanding what are the barriers to these things is more important. Say, for example, right now I am just casually talking or taking this particular session here every Tuesdays. So when we are doing that, this is right now how I'm talking. The minute I bring my mic close to my mouth, or the microphones which I'm using, it makes a bigger impact. Shabna ma'am who has joined with us or who's doing this program, can you feel the difference?
Yes, now it is much better. I can hear it louder.
I'm just giving you a very small example. So make sure you are using a you know microphone which is portable, or make sure your microphone is little more closer to your mouth so that the audio is clear. Because many a times we don't use presentations, or many a times we don't use a PPT to present something, not necessity. So many a times people will start with by using storytelling or using anecdotes, lot of things. But we need to understand, okay, what are the barriers which can occur? Network drop issue, it can be. Or start talking before the person who's ask explaining an activity, before he or she finishes, the moment you start talking, that is also a barrier. not allowing that person to finish what he or she is talking, and lack of clarity in your own topic or what you're going to present. So all these things, all these small things has to be taken care of. I'll show you another example. Now I'm sitting almost close to the laptop. If I move back, what happens? I'll go out of visibility, isn't it? So that also gives a greater impact on your presentation, especially when you're doing it on a online platform. I know it's very minute things which I'm explaining it here, and these are the things which we'll have to take into consideration. And the kind of words, the language what you use during presentations, especially on your social media handles or wherever you are presenting, we need to be aware of what kind of audience are we facing or what kind of people whom we are going to address to. Otherwise, what will happen if you don't start taking consideration these things? What will happen? Your talk, your content will be too good, but okay, this was not done to a greater level. Say for example, you're going for a wedding. If the food is not good, the whole wedding is okay, it's just you just went and came, that's all. Happens with everyone, isn't it? Lot of people, lot of times this happens. So there are some of the things you can take into consideration is that you can ask these certain questions which will help you to guide you to or to eliminate these barriers in a better way. One is, who's the presentation for, or whom are you presenting to this, or why is this message being communicated, or what exactly is the message to be communicated, where will the presentation take place, when will the presentation take place, how can it be delivered. These are the couple of questions which you can ask to yourself before when you are planning or preparing for a session. Now, the presenter or the person who's gonna take the session, or if you are a speaker, as a speaker, your non-verbal communication, that is nothing but the way you groom yourself, the body language, the voice, your face, all these things, because all this gives a, you know, create for creating a first impression about yourself. Then comes, okay, how can you manage this first impression as an for a presenter or as a speaker or as a trainer? Is in your appearance, it's more of your grooming, your clothing, or even your surroundings, the stage, or are you going to walk around, and the behavioral or your physical aspect of it is your attitude, your communication style, and how professionally you handle. Lot of times you must have noticed that, sometimes you find people are confused what to wear, to what kind of occasion, how do I choose it, how do I do it, all that happens. This is something which you can use to change the kind of message what you want to give out to your audience. Then comes your non-verbal part of it, the look or the colors which you use in your PPT, also your eye contact. Are you looking at all sides of your audience who's sitting around you? Many a times we have to pick and choose couple of people from every corner and every nook and corner of the room, so that your eye contact goes to every nook and corner. At least that will give the audience sitting there will get an impression that okay, he or she's looking at everyone when she's talking. Simple as that. And your voice, as I said, the way you hold your mic, the microphones which you use, the pauses which you use, the vocal quality, and the speed of your speech also matters, and the kind of accent you prone to use it. I'll I'll give you a very simple example. I think majorly of you must have heard of the stand-up comedies, the kind of voice they use there, and the kind of voice they use on a TEDx platform. That is there. That is a different story altogether. But yes, it has to be interesting. It has to have that humor. It has to have that impact. It has to have the statistics. All that needs. Any questions till now? If you have any questions, either post it or you can ask me right here, right now itself. And comes your face, your facial expression. Sometimes when people get onto the stage, you can feel that. So we need to start handling those part of it. And eye contact. Because this is one thing which is going to establish rapport between you and your audience. If you have more open body postures, you will have more people feel okay. This individual is more open to, you know, this person is approachable. You get this kind of a message, and you're using a visual feedback. See the kind of hand gestures you make, the kind of things you do physically gives a message to people. Yes, this particular segment is for a separate day, but this is just to give you a heads up as to what it can feel like, and how can you use that feedback to make it even more better. So these are some of the pointers which has to be taken into consideration before you start going and doing your presentation skill, presentation in any place wherever you go, or in any occasion. And to how can you some kind of bad habits, what happens during a presentation is fidgeting or playing with something, or you're overly using some gestures, or you're not looking at your audience, you're just staring at one point in a wall, or reading something from somewhere. All these things happens during a presentation. And when it comes to your preparation part of it, understanding your audience is more important. Understanding your audience, understanding the purpose, what is the structure, what kind of information has to be given for what kind of environment and what kind of audience. Because otherwise, see, if you don't know as a speaker what you're going to deliver, how will audience know what they're here for? They'll not know. Say for example, if the topic of for today, if it is not given, you'll not be able to identify, okay, Darshini is going to talk about this particular topic, until and unless I give you that, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about. Because even here in this community, in every session the topic is being displayed, so that people know, okay, this particular speaker is talking about these particular skill sets, so these are the kind of audience. But it is the one simple tip or one simple hack what I would give any presentation or for any speaker is, it's very good to spend time in understanding things, or understanding that particular person's need, or identifying their purpose. You need to spend more time here more than the delivery part of it. Delivery, yes, equally it is important, but if these things, small things, are done in a right manner, it is more easier to handle. Any questions before I go forward?
Yes. You mentioned about humor. So can you elaborate that? Yeah.
Say for
So
example,
you
you must
mentioned
have
about
heard of
yeah.
you have heard of
Yeah.
all sort of stand-up comedies.
Yes.
Yes, sometimes what
But some
happens between
yeah, no.
huh?
Most of the time we find it difficult to bring humor. So, is there any strategy or ways how to bring it?
See, if you feel that your audience are distracted with something, immediately, you can, you can ask them that, how do you make this particular thing? Or how do you make a tea or coffee? In a very sarcastic manner. Or pick up their conversation and put it to them itself. Okay, this is what you're talking about, and laughing. You tell to everyone, let everyone laugh. Simple.
Yeah.
So that can be done. Bringing humor in between or telling some humorous stories can be a simple hack to grab hold of your audience attention. Because if sessions are too long, people are not gonna sit. Or to bring them back their attention, open-ended questions can bring them back their attention too. Instead of giving any yes or no answer kind of a question, if that is there, it's easier. See, the basic structure has to be followed, the sequence and other things, but it's more to do with uh, the humor part of it. Or say, for example, you have taken up certain topic and you're discussing about it. Find some humorous stories, or you can create hypothetical stories and tell them, see, this is what it is. Sometimes bringing that laughter is also equally important, not taking everything too seriously. So that is when this personal stories create an impact. What I'll do is, at the end of this session or in the comments, I will pin down my TEDx talk video link also. If anyone is willing to go watch, please do watch and support. And see, I am a person who believes in giving only few couple of things, and we'll have a second part of this same presentation skills on another day. I don't want to go overboard with the information what I'm giving here. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. Otherwise, and one thing, before I wind it up, one thing I'll have to be very I want to specifically mention is that if you feel you're not able to remember some statistics or factual data, please don't take it up that way. You don't have to add it in your presentation at the first place. Or you can, just for your additional information, this is a slide which has been added, you can tell the audience upfront, but don't take the risk of that you trying to remember, because all this pauses and everything will give it, after some time it will bring up a negative impact in people's mind. So, sometimes you'll have to see, okay, what information do I need? Or where can I get the information? Or what form it will be when I get it? Or is the source of information reliable? We need to have these things in mind. If you're unsure about something, if somebody asks you some question or something, tell them back, I will check and I'll get back to you. Or you can put at the end of the PPT or whatever it is, you can put off your email ID or your contact details in it, asking them to connect with you on a personal front. But by the time, you can do your homework and come back. And time frame is another thing which we'll have to keep in mind when you're presenting something, because in for anything and everything, a time frame has been given just to keep in track as to what. Okay, for example, I'll tell you, you have a 1 hour session. That 1 hour, this is the learning outcomes you have planned for. After the session, before winding up the session, make sure that all that learning outcome has been delivered. If not, put it in a very crystal clear manner, this is what it is, so that it's easier for the audience to understand. Or then we'll continue for the next day if a next day session is being given to you. Some small things, but follow. If you find any difficulty, come back with your questions. And that is it for today for now. If you have any real life examples you want to discuss, please bring it up.
Awesome. Yeah, Rajvin, do you want to share?
I really wanted to appreciate Rajvin, ma'am. Every time she attends a session without fail,
Yes.
Actually,
and very a big round of applause for that.
Yes. Because Rajvin is consciously positive.
And she's a
consciously,
laughter therapist also, so she has to be.
consciously positive person also can break down sometimes.
Sometimes laughter is also needed everywhere. So
Yeah, laughter makes me laugh until I cry. Anyway, this is it important? Is it important to have learning outcomes? Because as a
Yes, Rajvin ma'am, because I'll tell you, otherwise your session will go haywired. See, if even if you have 3 to 5 learning outcomes is more than enough. You don't have to go give
so,
10, 15,
so
because the effectiveness and the impact of the session goes away.
so I want to ask you, since we have some time today, uh, then first will be the introduction, second will be the learning outcomes, third will be the background or what you want to talk, 3 4 slides, and after that will be in the middle, and then include the videos beginning and at the end. So that's it.
And other most important thing we'll have to keep in consideration is the energy level,
So,
which
and then
has to be maintained from the beginning till the end. The same energy has to go. If your energy drops by the end, people sometimes, you need to understand, okay, in the beginning how many participants are there, in the middle how many are there, at the end how many are there.
so the thing is how to gain participants' attention.
So similarly, if you have tried doing fishing, if you go
Yeah,
put that hook with the food in the place where fishes are not there, you're not going to catch a fish. Instead, you go put it in a place where fishes are there, you will catch a fish. The hook has to be right, or the
yeah,
grabbing of the attention has to be right. So mostly what happens is, at least with me, storytelling works the best, or some kind of cheering activities works best for people to grab their attention.
yeah. Especially in laughter yoga, is cheering and clapping is
Even
the
couple
most.
of hours back I had a session, and this is how I started off the session for our cheering. I divided them into 3 teams. I told them, now you which team cheers the best, we'll see who wins, kind of a scenario. So that also happens in the session.
So, what kind of attention grabbers can we do? I know,
Okay.
I know. I'm just asking your
See,
expert opinion.
usually what I do is, either I start with a story, or either I start with an anecdote, or either I start with
Yeah,
a
yeah.
game.
That's what I
But
do. But
it depends on the
I'm just
kind of
asking.
audience who comes into play.
Yeah, I'm just asking from your perspective,
Curiosity is always good, darling. So it's okay.
because sometimes I like to hear from other trainers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot to learn from each other. I learn from
Uh-huh.
you a lot. This is the third
Yeah.
time I watched your session video. To how
Uh,
many I shared your the laughter therapy video which I done, so the session which you have done.
which one?
I
The
think
one I did for
which you did couple
Shabana.
of months back. Of
Couple
Shabana
of
ma'am's
months.
session only. So yeah. So you never know. You have lot of learn. You have lot of things to learn from each other. And
Lot of
two things what
followers
has
also.
helped me is curiosity and that open-mindedness to learn things is where it's gonna get you. Because otherwise, Shabna ma'am cannot do what she's doing right now.
Yes, and I obviously I really admire 3 people here. Our mentors here, Shabana, Nupurji, and also Minuji. That's why they are the umbrellas for all the trainers here, including myself, because
There are a lot of things we can do
because
together.
they are developing. As I listened to your presentation just now, three things I so it gave me the energy to be enthusiastic as a speaker, and
Yeah.
it gave me the confidence. It gave me the confidence as a trainer, and it gave me the steadfast thinking attitude.
Rajbin, I'll just give you a very simple tip is that whatever you are doing, you just have the clarity of whatever you're doing, you know what you're doing. That is more than enough. It's not the anything else which is gonna matter. See, this is just a booster for many of them, but you have to be confident, okay, this is what I'm gonna talk about.
Yeah.
And I know in and out of the subject to
Yeah.
whatever learning outcomes which I have designed for. If you're confident about that, you should be never bothered about anything else. That is what I would say. I hope
Okay.
Shabna ma'am also agrees with me on this.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you should be just, you should know in and out, okay, these are the topics we're going to
Yes.
talk. If you know in and out, then you don't have to be scared of anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
See, you're already doing a great job, Rajvin, and you need to be appreciated. The world needs to know you.
That's why.
Yes, so believe in
That's
that.
that's why I started from uh, uh, becoming becoming a basic trainer to now becoming a laughter yoga teacher. To
That is what
after
you
that,
need to celebrate your progress, darlings. Anyone who's listening out to me in this particular session, you need to start celebrating your progress at every
yes,
step, because change and failure is something very constant. So,
yes,
see, I'll tell you something.
and it's okay to fail.
Uh, you know, Finding new people, finding new customers is easy, but are you able to retain the old customers in your hand or
Very hard.
clients?
Very hard.
Very hard, exactly. And it depends on
Rather,
the kind of experience you give to people.
rather to find new customers, because each time as a trainer, especially these online sessions is okay, but when you are doing for did one for cancer patients, so some of them are new case, some of them are old. They want another session, different platforms that I have. Yeah.
So
So
today,
each
I didn't even imagine that I would reach to where I reached today. And I myself didn't even
because
today. Sometimes I find it so difficult to
because all of us
to
here believe in ourselves, and we are confident, and we are and as our mentor said, we are consciously positive,
exactly.
sometimes overly consciously positive,
It's okay. It's okay to be positive. That's more than enough.
or sometimes overly
It's okay. Overly
too
also, if you're
much,
positive, it's fine as till you're not overly negative about something.
too much
It's
also
okay.
too
Overly
much.
positive is also okay.
Yeah, so
So yeah,
anyway, thank you so
thank
much.
you. Thank you, Shabna ma'am. Also,
Thank you so much, Darshani. It was really wonderful. Any other question, Rajvin, you have?
no.
Oh,
Because if she starts, we go on talking.
Yeah, I think it's really good. And I
Thank you
think
so much.
these are very important topics that
We'll
we
do the
should
second
discuss.
part next week.
Yes, let's do that. Thank you,
Yeah.
Darshani.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.